Everybody, welcome to Fantasy Sports Now. So, this is going to be a little bit different format today. Unfortunately, when I was setting up my screenshots and getting my computer ready for this video, I dropped my computer about 4 feet onto the floor and the screen shattered, and I don't know, it's sitting over here on the side and it's pretty busted. So, I'm not sure what that means for the future. Hopefully, not much. Hopefully, I can just repair the screen, get a new screen. I don't know. So you'll have to bear with me. I kind of want to keep to this Tuesday, Friday schedule, and I want to get you guys this information because it's important. So we're just going right to Roto World, which is the site I was getting those screen grabs from. I cleaned it up a little so it's easier to follow, so bear with me a little bit. And you know what? I got 12 names, and I just want to jump right in, and we'll forget about the PC woes, and hopefully we can figure that out. Very frustrating morning, let me tell you, but that's okay. It's all right. You don't need to see my face for this one anyway. um, anyway, so we're going to start. This weekend actually was pretty clean until Monday. It seemed like everybody got hurt, and they all got hurt with the exact same problem. Which is kind of crazy to me. There's four guys that all got a soreness in the forearm. And if you know anything about Tommy John, when you have soreness in your forearm, it's rather a forearm or bicep, usually leads to major injuries or Tommy John. So Zach Gallen is the first victim here. It's not like confirmed that he's going to have Tommy John or anything, but he's saying that basically it hurts to throw a curveball. And it hurts his forearm to throw a curveball. And usually that is not a good sign. That's usually an extended outage for a pitcher. And I don't want to say it is going to end in Tommy John, but it does seem like it's trending that direction. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. If you haven't drafted yet, then I would just avoid the situation entirely. Yeah, there's probably good value in him prior to this, but now that this has happened, just take somebody else at this point. I wouldn't even think about that late of a pick at the end. I don't think I would. I would just avoid the entire thing. Tommy John, and it's done. So if you've already selected, obviously hold on to it and see what it does here. But yeah, good luck, Gallen. I hope he doesn't need it because I like watching him. Same thing here with Kirby Yates. This is horrible news for Toronto, who signed him hoping that he could bounce back and be their closer. Horrible news. Also has a strain in his pitching arm. He previously had the surgery to get rid of the bone chips in his elbow, which sounds like a whole lot of fun, right? But now his forearm is starting to hurt, and it sounds like he's going to be out for an extended period of time as well. He was always kind of a high risk, high reward guy. And it seems like it kind of caught up already, which sucks for Toronto because they obviously brought him in to close. So the closer situation in Toronto is basically unknown now. There's some names up here: Jordan Romano that they think, Rafael Dallas they think could be in the mix for saves. It's basically at this point avoid the entire situation because I mean Toronto is going to win some games, but who's going to close? Who knows? How good are these guys? Who knows? Is Kirby Yates going to get the job if he ever comes back? Who knows? I would argue that probably, but I don't know if he's going to come back, unfortunately. And the same thing, again, going to Jose Leclerc. He also is going to, this one is a little bit more known apparently, and this one's more in the elbow than it is the forearm. So I guess they're not all forearms, but they're all pitching arms, which is not good, and they're mostly closers. So they're saying that they already expect him to miss an extended period of time. This one to me also screams Tommy John, almost guaranteed Tommy John. Which really sucks for Jose Leclerc as a person. Like, I feel bad for him. As a fantasy perspective, it's not the biggest blow. If you waited too long for closers and you grabbed him, I think my video said to do that even. It's unfortunate. Sorry if you took that advice. Who could have seen this coming? But it's easy enough to drop a Leclerc. Hopefully there's others in the league. I don't know if I would touch Matt Bush or Ian Kennedy. Maybe if you're in a league that has just a ton of spots and you can just dive and throw people in wherever, then maybe. But I don't think Texas is going to win that many games anyway. And so Leclerc was just a pitcher that I liked, but now the whole situation is messy. And going back into the exact same situation with Pomeranz, he's basically expected to miss time because there we go, back to the forearm. It sounds like he's not going to make the opening day roster now for sure. They're pushing for it, but they just don't know. And if his forearm really is hurting, that's not good. Again, repeat myself, it's leading to something much worse. Now, I would probably hold on to Pomerantz just for now. I wouldn't drop him, but it sounds like Pagan is going to be their guy, maybe. The problem is, here's the problem. If he comes back, will he stay healthy? I don't know. But he's hurt right now, and he's in the mix for saves right now. So he's not even the full-time closer right now, and he's already hurt. So it's not a good situation. Let's just say that. I would not want to have this situation. If you have Paul Moranz on your team, pick up a gun right now. And I know there's no IL right now. Hopefully there's a guy that you can drop. But that's blow number 1 to San Diego. Blow number 2 is Lamet. So I thought Lamet was making progress, and he is making progress. But it sounds like the timeline for him coming back is like way further than I thought. Like, I assumed that since he hasn't had surgery and he hasn't had like a major. Did he have? He did have elbow. Okay, so he did have a clear out. It wasn't Tommy John, but he did clean up some stuff in his elbow. But I thought he was going to be ready for opening day, and they're going to baby him a bit. But it sounds like he's actually not even ready for opening day. So that's much worse than I thought. I assumed that at some point he would probably get hurt because he's got this elbow thing that didn't really clear up and the bicep thing that didn't really clear up. There wasn't like a permanent fix to his problem. So I kind of assumed that at some point during the year he'd get hurt, but the timeline is so far back now that it's frightening me. And the same thing goes, and that's why I said, like, is San Diego in trouble? Lamet is already going to be out. Pomerantz is already going to be out. Grisham is making progress. I didn't include him in this list, but he is making progress, so I think he's going to be fine. But similar to Lamet is Soroka. I thought that Soroka would be more ready to opening day, but it sounds like an IL stint is almost guaranteed at this point for him. And it sounds like it's going to be at least a couple more weeks, and then even after those couple more weeks, he's got to get his arm stretched out. So you're looking at potentially 3 weeks of no Soroka. So if you pick him early or you reach for him, that could be a big mistake here because it doesn't sound like he's going to be ready to go. And if the league that you're in is ready for these injuries and they know about these injuries, then there's still meat on the bone here, which I like. But for me, it's a little scary that he's not further along because I really thought that he was ready, and he's apparently not. Same thing here with the Real Muto is he's got this weird thumb thing going on. He hasn't really played a spring training game yet, and there's a week before the season starts. So to me, rushing a catcher to get ready for the season is just asking for a further injury. Now, he's clear-cut the best hitting catcher in the league, so it's worth it, but I think people are going to reach for him thinking that he's totally fine, and he's not totally fine. So for me, it's even further proof that I feel like you should wait on catcher this year and just take somebody else. I think that Real Muto will eventually lead the league in catching points, but it's one of these things that I feel like the value isn't there for me. Nate Pearson, a guy that I had initially on my list of pitchers that I like, or sleepers, if you will. I think that he was a high risk, high reward kind of guy, and it looks like the high risk part is coming into play because he already hurt his groin, and then it was like, okay, could probably still get to opening day with that groin, but then he re-aggravates the groin, which basically eliminates him from opening day. He's going to start the season on the IL. I still think that he's worth a stash in most leagues, unless it's like a really shallow bench league. I think that he's worth keeping or taking even late, despite these injuries. I don't think it'll be something that lasts too long, so I think that he still is a high risk, high reward, but I think he has a high reward there, so I think it's worth maybe keeping there. So let's recap on some guys that we looked at previous weeks here. Carlos Carrasco, I don't want to say the news gets worse, but it kind of does because they basically have no timeline for his return now. Initially, they said like 6 to 8 weeks, but then he's got his arm stretched out, so it's probably longer than that. So they don't even know at this point. So for me, it's pretty much a hard pass. like I said last week, auto draft. Let the auto drafters draft him. Let the people who don't know about him draft him, and be on my way. I'll take somebody else. Sonny Gray actually sounds like good news. It sounds like they're ramping him up in order to potentially be ready for opening day rotation. So the thing to remember is, he doesn't have to pitch opening day. He can pitch the 5th day of the week and still make the first week scoring period. So he doesn't have to be the first guy out there. It seems like it's possible. So, I'm kind of back in on Sonny Gray, and I think that he's going to be all right, which is great because it sounded like an IL stint almost for sure a couple weeks ago, but now it sounds like he's got a shot. Let's jump to Strasburg. Good news here. Last I read, unless it updated in the last, day here, not even day, the last 20 minutes really. It sounds like he is going to be ready to go. Another high risk kind of guy always, and he already was hurt, and it's kind of scary that he's hurt, but it sounds like he's good to go. So if you own him already, whew, huge sigh of relief. If you're drafting still, draft with the same confidence that you had before that he won't get hurt, I suppose. Odds are he's probably going to get hurt anyway, but maybe this will be the one that gets him out of the way. Marte, I believe, again, is back to full health. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I was going to say he's back to full health, but I already forgot about the ankle. So he got hit in the foot, hurt his foot, and then he was fine, and then he rolled his ankle, and basically there's no update since a couple days ago on his ankle. This was updated March 16th. That's like 7 days ago. So that is a little scary that they haven't had an update. It doesn't sound like he's played since then. I've had an ankle injury, and it can be pretty devastating towards baseball careers, especially a guy who relies on speed, especially a guy who needs to play the outfield. So initially, I was very much, he's probably fine. It's probably just a rolled ankle. It's probably precautionary. But now I'm a little more timid in taking him. Just because it's been a week without any news. So if I haven't drafted yet, I might pull back just a little bit because I'm scared there's no update. I know that's kind of like a pansy way of looking at it, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. All right, guys, that's the list this day. Hopefully I can get the setup going again. I actually have a new camera over here that I want to use, but I can't now because the machine is totally jacked. So hopefully we can get things back in order. We might get one of these on Friday. Well, we'll do one on Friday regardless, and then hopefully we can kind of get back to a normal schedule. Anyway, guys, appreciate you. Hit that sub button, even if it's a sympathy sub, and we'll see you next time.